things that I ever received when I was younger, maybe freshman in high school, was a letter from an anonymous sender. And it was a time in in my life and in all of our lives where you're dealing with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-confidence issues. But it was a picture of me smiling and a poem about how I was this person's hero. And it was a very, very influential thing that I got, and it actually changed how I felt about myself at a time that I needed it. Maria did not take credit for sending that for a really, really long time. And that is one of Maria's very, very best traits, is how she supports those within her inner circle. She passionately supports those within her. God help someone who harms someone in Maria's inner circle. And there are stories. Because of that, I've always wanted to provide the same level of support for my sister. So when as Maria was navigating through the dating scene, like all of us have had to do, she would come to me and say, "How do you know when it's the right one? How do you know?" And I would give her the same advice that Mom gave me. You just know when you know. Which is horrible advice, people. Because if you're with somebody and you don't know, you're like, wait, what? Why am I? And if you're not with somebody, you're waiting for some type of like firework grand finale. It doesn't feel that way either. But after a lot of those conversations, I would go to bed and I would pray and ask God to bring you what I have, because you deserve it. She deserves it. Which brings me to the night I met Tony. So usually the first pass litmus test for a new suitor for my sister is dinner at my home. So Maria calls me and she says, "I got somebody I want you to meet." And I bring him over. So Tony comes to the door, and it takes literally a full minute to get by those sparkly eyes, people. So he sits down at dinner, and I learned something so valuable that night, that you just know when you know. If you're close enough to somebody, like me and Maria are, you can see it too. I saw it. And I went to bed that night, and it was the very first time I did not have that same prayer. I simply said, "Thank you." So, in conclusion, my sister loves quotes.
I do.
So, to quote Katharine Hepburn, because I wanna give advice, but I don't feel qualified to give advice in a room where people have been married for 40, 50, 60 years. I'm not qualified to give advice, but I will give you a promise. But I want to end with a quote from Katharine Hepburn. "Love has nothing to do with what you expect to get, only what you expect to give, which has to be everything. You give everything to this, it will work. And everything, I promise you, everything else just falls in place."